Wow. What an ending to Dynamite. What a main event. And wow, like where do we even start? That match was insane. And the ending, I did not see that coming. Little unexpected. Little unexpected, but we will get there eventually. We will get to the main event and all the happenings that went down afterwards. But first, let me say a quick thank you for those of you tuning in. Welcome back to All Elite Spotlight, and I am your host, TNT. And another great Dynamite, shocker. And we started off tonight. Let's see. We started off with just like some cold open segments here. First of all, with the TBS four-way championship coming up, we had some quick promos from Mina Shirakawa, defending champion Willow Nightingale, and Megan Bayne. No Shafir, just those three doing a quick short promo to pump up the TBS Championship match that was on that night. And then there was a quick promo by both Swerve and Omega. Swerve just sitting in the back, quietly saying, "I need this," which would come back around at the end of the show. And just really intense. Definitely like the quick short promos. And then that closed off the opening segment promos with OC revealing that Tomohiro Ishii would be his partner instead of Roddy, who kind of turned his back on the conglomeration, and they would be going up against Id and Connors in tag team action later on in the night. But that was it for these segments. For the opening promos, then we jump straight into the opening match, a Continental title eliminator match. Jon Moxley versus Mark Davis, going by the name Dunkzilla. Got it on the trunks. Mark Davis, the more he comes out and wrestles, the more he shows you. And I'm really digging him. He's really good. And I think the fans are seeing that, and hopefully the viewers. And I'm just happy that he's been getting the time to shine, and he's been maximizing that time. One little touch that I like during the entrances, Moxley specifically, is how they've been doing for the past few weeks or so off and on, having Renee do that live update while the entrance is going. Just gives it a little bit of that real sports feel. So something small that sets them apart and is unique. Yuta did come out with Moxley. He had the hood up, so could not see the fresh baldness of Yuta, unfortunately. But, maybe eventually. But nothing there to start the show. The match itself started out with some quick chain. Then Mark Davis took over due to that brute strength that he has. Then there was one spot that I really liked that was a little unique. That was when Moxley went for a sunset flip in the middle of the ring, and Mark Davis went to do that sit down senton, which like 99%, the person's gonna miss it, but he actually sat down and caught Mox with it, which is something you don't normally see succeeding. That was a nice little touch. Then Davis was in control for quite a bit of the match, but the tide turned when he had Mox out on the floor. He went for a strike, hand smashed the post outside the ring, and that's been done before, but this time it looked real vicious. His hand was bleeding. Mox, of course, went after it, like twisting it, biting it, smashing it against the stairs. Then they went back into the match. A lot of back and forth, good back and forth. Then towards the end, Davis goes for a back suplex. They got counted into a choke, and really deep bulldog choke, and that was a tap out victory for Mox. So another eliminator victory for Jon Moxley, And I just think it's kind of interesting because I do hear some chatter that eliminator matches, they always end with the challenger winning, getting a title shot, and then losing. But if you're actually paying attention to the show and AEW and what Jon Moxley specifically has been doing, he wins those eliminator matches. That's why he's only had to defend his title once, and that was against Takeshita. And that was because he chose to get his win back from the loss he had to Takeshita during the Continental Classic. So, no, for anyone that thinks those eliminator matches are instant win for the challengers, that's actually not the truth. So we take up after that match to a quick video package of Hangman backstage. This was after Grand Slam Australia, before MJF's match to Brody King. And he's just telling MJF that he will end him to get that title. Really emphasize that, really close up to the camera. Another intense promo, and Hangman just locked in and ready for his opportunity at the AEW World title again, coming up at Revolution. From there, we go to an in-ring promo. Shivani and the guys at the table, Excalibur and Bryan Danielson, were mentioning how they weren't scheduled, so I guess they were just picking their spot. So they come down with Stoke in his wheelchair. They get a big STFU chant, and from there they just talk about the Bucks, saying how they're in second place 10 years ago, back in 2016. They like to think of themselves the best tag team in the world, but now 10 years later, they're behind FTR. And they were also called out as fake by Stokely specifically, just talking about their history like a year or so ago when they were EVPs and pushing their power around, how they just tried to run Private Party out of the company back then, and were then just a week ago shaking hands with Private Party. So just trying to needle the Bucks a bit, call them false, fake, liars, all that stuff. And wouldn't you know it, the Bucks come up from behind. 2 quick super kicks to FTR, lays them out, and then a super kick to Stoke. So actually, for my feed, watching it, I was watching it on TV rather, not on HBO Max. Like, it cut out the actual super kick. So they go, the crowd is chanting for the Bucks to super kick Stoke. And then all of a sudden, it just cuts to where Stoke is laid out, and the chair is upturned, and the Bucks are grabbing the titles, holding it. So let me know in the comments if y'all were actually able to see that super kick happen. And you know what? I'll go back to HBO Max and see if that feed had the super kick. I was just curious about that because I was actually able to see the actual contact. From there, the Bucks went ahead and made an official challenge to FTR as they were laid out in the ring that they want them at Revolution for the tag team titles, which will be in LA, which Shivani pointed out that would be pretty close to home field advantage for the Bucks. And the match was made official later on in the night. So afterwards that match, we had a backstage promo, again taped from after Grand Slam Australia. This one was Brody King talking about wanting to get back into the world title hunt, and he had Bandito there just giving him some consoling and all that. But Brody did mention next week, the date specifically February 25th. So I guess we'll see him back in action trying to work his way back towards main event status and potentially another shot at the world title down the road. So after that, we get to what I would consider the semi-main event, the TBS Championship 4-way, a match I was personally looking forward to. That we're pumping up a lot. Some fresh competitors for Willow. I believe they said this was her third TBS Championship defense of her second run. So she was going up against Marina Shafir. Megan Bayne and Mina Shirakawa. And none of the Death Riders stayed ringside. Penelope Ford didn't stay ringside. And I was actually quite surprised. No Lena Cross siding either. No interference in the match whatsoever. Just a straight up fatal 4-way without any interference. So basically, as I mentioned in my preview, I thought that, obviously with Megan Bayne and Shafir being tag team for a short while during that tournament for the inaugural Women's Tag Team Championship, I figured they would team up at the beginning at the very least, and they definitely did. They got rid of Mina and were working over Willow Nightingale for the beginning of the match. But Willow was strong throughout the match, actually. She was able to fight off those two for a bit and was able to take back some control. And then Mina got involved as well. She did a dive from the top rope to the floor, took them all out. Then it was just a lot of good back and forth. Mainly, you would see Megan Bayne and Marina Shafir working together, just focusing on Willow Nightingale and Mina. Mina kind of would get tossed to the side a bit. But she did have a couple moves. She did a little tornado from the apron to the inside. But it was a lot of Bayne and Shafir trying to dominate and working as a team. Eventually, there was one spot where Megan Bayne did a Hurricane Rana from the top on Willow Nightingale, I believe. That was pretty impressive. She also did a press, like a gorilla press on Mina, tossing her from in the ring to the outside on the other competitors. But afterwards, throughout the match, like I said, the big baddies were in control, but Willow Nightingale kept fighting back, hit 3 awesome spine busters, then a DVD, a Death Valley driver on Megan Bayne, which was impressive because Megan's a big girl, and she was just fighting back. There was a point towards the end where it looked like Megan had a chance. She hit that flying lariat she likes to finish people off with, did a suicide dive to the outside. But then when she had the opportunity to go in and potentially make a pin, Marina said no. So then they start doing what you would expect and can't team forever in a 4-way. So they start trading blows. Shafir's looking strong, standing tall against the Megasis. But in the end, Megan Bayne catches her, puts her up for a power bomb, and tosses her basically over the guardrail into the timekeeper section, that table and chairs area. From there, Megan Bayne goes back into the ring. She tried to maneuver Willow Nightingale, I believe it was, up to the top and hit her with an avalanche type move, but it ended up getting reversed, and Willow hit Megan with a wicked avalanche German suplex. It turned Megan Bayne inside out. It looked like she honestly landed face first. And she rolled out the ring. Mina slid in there and was like a house of fire, hitting the back fist a couple times, got Willow down, signaled to do the figure 4 leg lock, but quick roll up counter by Willow. 1, 2, 3, successful title defense. That's all she wrote. And Willow came out, who I thought would be the underdog of the match, but I did also mention in my preview earlier today that there was a chance I could see her winning if exactly what happened. Megan Bayne and Marina Shafir go at it at the end of the match, screw themselves over, and then Willow gets a quick roll-up win on Mina, and lo and behold, it happened. So, not saying it's predictable, because it wasn't. I was really, in my heart of hearts, going for Megan Bayne to get her first title victory there, but I'm also, I've been a Willow fan ever since I've known her, so I'm not mad that she's still champ either. I'm not mad. I'm just a little disappointed. Do better, Megan. Man, the old parent line. I'm not mad, just disappointed. But no, really good match. Really good stuff in there. Very entertaining. Did not disappoint. And Willow gets to continue on as a double champion. So we'll see what she faces next. That should be interesting. We'll see if she runs it back with Megan or Marina one-on-one, or a whole different contender to begin with. So moving on, we have just a video package about Grand Slam Australia. So just going over all the highlights, just reminding you of what and me of what a great show it was. It was really good. So just a quick highlight clip. Then there was a short time period spent at the announcer desk, just talking about, I suppose, just someone in the back. I believe his name was Kerwin Selfie. He had just passed away. Said he was in his 70s, like maybe 75. Worked as a director backstage. And at one point, Bryan Danielson got all choked up, teared up, and was just talking about how he knew Danielson at the time, in the beginning at WWE, knew nothing about TV production. That guy, Kerwin Selfie, helped him out a lot. So they just took a couple minutes to pay their respects. And moving on from there, we went to the highly anticipated face-to-face Hangman and MJF. No physicality allowed. So they come out to the ring, and MJF starts it off, saying he's, just going to tell the truth. He's not here to play around. And he instantly just goes into how much he hates Hangman Adam Page, hates everything about him, hates that the fans loves him, hates that he thinks he's the main character, and then ends up saying that he sees something in Hangman that nobody else is seeing, and that, that maybe Hangman doesn't, that he just seems a little bit off, maybe doesn't think he can do it. Says that he's just really a lucky shot, and he has a little bit of corny line that he's a lucky shot and he has no bullets or something along that line. But he did point out that Revolution is on his birthday, the 15th of next month, and there'd be no other better present than ending the Cowboy stuff on that day. So after that, it was Page's turn. He said, he hates MJF too, and that he's not lucky because he, last year or so, he's been beating the dog crap, not crap, but that's the word I'm using, out of MJF twice. So he wouldn't call it luck. In fact, he turned it around and said it's MJF that's lucky, and that the only reason he was champion was because he laid down for like picking a wedgie for the entirement of that title match where he won, and used a low blow to help him get that win. So then the promo took a interesting turn. It developed a little bit. I liked that he took it this next step where he said he hates MJF because he admits that he's never met anyone more like him than MJF. So I guess just saying how much alike he thinks him and MJF really are, that they're both have the same desperation for love and acceptance, and they're both loyal to AEW, and they don't just want the title, but they both need it. So the next big thing was that Page wants a stipulation, and he mentioned he would like the fans to decide. So they look confusing because first he said he wants MJF to think about it. Then he said he should also let the fans decide. Fans mostly started chanting Texas Death, and MJF was, of course, like, no. I just want a straight match. Why would I want to do that? Not defending my title in a Texas Death. So from there, MJF, Adam Page called him a coward and said that's the only reason he would want to do it. But Adam Page then took it a level further and actually said he would give his word that if he loses, he wouldn't challenge for the world championship ever again in his life. Which you longtime fans from the beginning would remember this as a Cody situation that also happened with MJF, where Cody said if he lost to MJF in his challenge that he wouldn't challenge for it again. So this is bringing back some painful memories, I'm sure, for some of us. Like, are we really going to do this again? Is Hangman really going to put everything on the line? And do we really see MJF losing the title after just having it for not that long? So I don't know. Texas Death was not made official. There obviously are going to be going at it for the title on the 15th at Revolution, but the stipulation has not been finalized. Apparently, that's going to take about a week or so. MJF wants to think about it, and Hangman's already saying that's the stipulation he wants, Texas Death. So he's willing to put everything on the line. MJF is happy to agree to that. But I guess we just have to get the final word on if it's going to be the Texas Death, which I would imagine if Hangman is making it with this stipulation on his behalf, with his not being able to challenge again for the AEW World title, then I imagine we'll get the Texas Death. And what is going to happen? Like, there's no way, right? What do you guys think? Just, let me know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, because it was already going to be a huge match. Like, Hangman and MJF for the world title, that's huge rivalry, huge stakes, of course. And if they put it in a Texas Death Match with just that, the title and the Texas Death Match, incredible, right? Nobody wants to miss that. But with Hangman putting his ability to challenge for the world title, that's a whole other level. So if you weren't going to tune in before, you'd be crazy not to then. I'm just curious as to how that's going to play out, because I would rather Hangman not lose. But is MJF going to lose? Man, he would have to, for me. But from there, we go on to another backstage promo, this one with the Death Riders, and they're taking turns talking, focus mainly on, in the beginning, on the Don Callis family and challenging them for a match at Collision. Then Mox got back on the screen and saying he's not done with Takeshita. He didn't like how it ended at Grand Slam Australia with that time limit expiring. So he wants it done again at Revolution, this time with no time limit. There must be a winner. And later on in the night, it was finalized and made official. So at Revolution, it will be for the Continental title, Mox and Takeshita one more time. No time limit. There must be a winner. And we did get to see Yuta back there in the promo, again with his head covered, looking unhappy, not saying anything. But again, no seeing the bald head. So maybe a Collision. We'll see. From there, we go to the tag team match that was hinted at the beginning. We get Orange Cassidy and Tomohiro Ishii, who is the NJPW Strong Openweight Champion, and they are going up against Gabe Kidd and Clark Connors. So Orange Cassidy still taking up the gauntlet for his buddy Darby Allin, and how he was dragged literally in the desert in a body bag by Gabe Kidd. So if you'd remember, Orange Cassidy was supposed to team with Roddy. Roddy had left him mid-match, and apparently, per the announcers, Roddy hasn't been seen since he walked out on Orange Cassidy. So Pretty solid match. I enjoyed it for what it was. Gabe Kidd and Clark Connors were doing the classic bad guy tactics, hitting behind the referee's back, doing whatever, little cheating moves they could when they could. There were some cool moments. There was Stone Pitbull. The Stone Pitbull was just no selling chops, classic Ishii. And then a chop contest between Gabe Kidd and Tomohiro Ishii. And then there went to open hand strikes to the face contest, and just brutal for a little bit there. Unfortunately, it did look like Ishii picked up an injury. It looked like his hip was bothering him. Shivani said maybe his hamstring. It looked like it was legit to me, because he was having Ishii, that is, was having trouble like getting back to his feet. It just looked kind of awkward, and the ref was checking on him. But if it was truly an injury, which I think something was definitely up, Ishii powered through it somehow, got back up, and kept going through the match. Lasted about another 4-5 minutes tops, maybe. And there was a point where Orange Cassidy was on the outside with Kidd, and again Darby comes through the crowd, grabs Gabe Kidd from over the guardrail, and they go back into the crowd and are not seen from again. Orange Cassidy comes in, orange punch to Clark Connors, then Tomohiro catches Connors with the brainbuster, 1, 2, 3, and OC, Orange Cassidy, and Ishii pick up the win. And hopefully Ishii's all good. I'm sure we'll hear about it in the days to come. But that guy's so great. So definitely one of my favorites. He's just so tough, man. He's so tough and still so good. So hoping the best for him and that he's all healthy and good. After that, we got some more backstage promos. This time it's the Don Callis family in response to what the Death Riders had to say. So like we've seen in the past, they're focusing on the walking weapon, Josh Alexander, Lance Archer, and Hechicero, just beating up some randos in the back. And then Josh Alexander's talking. Don Callis comes out and also brings out the Death Riders. If they want to fight, they can have one, and they're eyeing Claudio's CMLL world title as well. Then Andrade comes out, says he has his eyes open and still looking for the world title. And Okada comes up and just trashes Takeshita, as he always does, saying, he's not a champion. Oh, he's not here tonight. What a terrible partner. But no TNT champion signing, no Kyle Fletcher. So he was also, besides Takeshita, not there. And regarding Claudio's world title, the CMLL, it was decided or made official later on in the night that Claudio will be facing and defending his title against the walking weapon, Josh Alexander. That's going to be a great battle, and actually looking forward to that as well. And there was a quick promo from Hook. He said, again, boss of the ops, given to him by Joe while he's out. He sent Shibata back home to Japan, I guess, so he can do some international recruiting while Hook does domestic recruiting. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen there. I know Hook does have promise, so we'll see. Hopefully they can come up with something, but just doing the backstage promos of him looking for people and talking about how he's a boss, he's eventually going to have to come out and show that he's a boss and actually lead a group if that's what he's looking to do. So we'll see. The verdict will be out until then. Then we had the quick debut match of the Brawling Birds. And they went against Viva Van and Becca, I believe. was the Viva Van's partner's name. Brawling Birds matching outfits with the Union Jack, red, white, and blue. It was a good match. Good quick match, not like a squash match. Viva Van and Becca both got to do a little something in it. The Brawling Birds, Alex Windsor and Jamie Hayter, they had a good few tag team moves, some combos that looked pretty good. They had a backbreaker into a clothesline combo, like a double. One hits Lariat from behind, one hits from front combo. And then their finisher was the old Heart Foundation Heart Attack finisher, which, as a huge Bret Hart fan and Heart Foundation fan, I was a fan of. So that was good to see. We'll see where they go from here, how soon they'll be challenging, if they challenge for the AEW Women's Tag Championships and get involved with the Babes of Wrath. But good debut match. Like I said, not a squash, but nothing long either. They just got to showcase what they can do as a team with their tag team techniques. From there, we got a backstage promo with former champion, AEW World Women's Champion, two of them, Statlander and the returning Thunder Rosa. Haven't seen her in a while. Per Renee, it was since All in Texas, so quite a while ago. And we were notified by Renee that apparently Stat is not cleared to wrestle for at least another couple weeks. I guess due to the effects of that strap match. But Rosa did say she would want to have a piece of Tekla and that Triangle of Madness. So again, later on in the night, it was made official that at Collision this Saturday, Thunder Rosa will be facing Julia Hart from the Triangle of Madness. So former AEW World Champion against a former TBS Champion. And as we move on, we had Kevin the Jet Knight versus Beast Mordos. Kevin, who I really like. I mean, he just seems to be getting better and better every time I see him. And Beast Mordos, I mean, if you've been paying attention, you know that Beast Mordos can go in there and mix it up with anybody. And, you know, it may not be like a big marquee match like the main event that we have coming up right after this, but I mean, Beast Mordos and Kevin Knight, they tore it up. They did some really good stuff in the ring, and they showed at the beginning of the match in a quick backstage scene where Kevin Knight and Speedball basically said that if Beast Mordos could win, then LFI gets a trios title match this at Collision. So almost like a eliminator match in a way. I did hear Shivani mention that Kevin Knight seems to be verging on getting cocky. And I would say not cocky so much as just confident, and he should be because he's pretty dang amazing. He did this one amazing dive from the apron corner, from one apron to the other apron over the turnbuckle post onto the ring floor. It was pretty insane. And then I just love Morris's tornado tope that he does. Other than that, Kevin Knight showed off some of his strength with big slam, picking up the thick Beast Mordos. In the end, he hit him with a UFO splash, 1, 2, 3, end of the match. So not a terribly long match, maybe probably not even 10 minutes, maybe 8-10 minutes tops. And again, not another wrestling trope of, oh, if you win, you get a title shot, and the challenger wins and you get the title shot and they lose. Nope. They were denied and couldn't even get to challenge for the title. So very good. We had one more quick video package. This one hyping up Will Ospreay, just showing again, you know, his rehab and him talking about coming back. So super excited. Hope he's fully healed up and can go again because he has been missed. So it'll be really good to see him again. Hopefully all healthy and ready to go. Quick backstage promo with Ricochet and the Gates of Agony. saying they want to move on from Jack Perry and that they want to challenge for the trio titles this Saturday at Collision. So we'll see possibly maybe them going against Jet Speed Rodeo, and that'll be interesting because I was thinking to myself as well, and Gates of Agony actually mentioned it, is that those titles don't really get defended. It's the only drawback to the Trios Championship is they end up on somebody and they just kind of just disappear for a while. So hopefully we get the match. I can't remember if it was made official or not, but it seems like that's where we were heading. So finally, back to the main event. Omega and Swerve. It was incredible. It did start off showing MJF watching on the screen, and that's interesting because if he's focused on his future opponents, then doesn't bode well for Hangman, right? But anyway, there was no holding back from the start of it. So, how Dynamite ended last time with that brawl where they both went through tables off the stage. This match started, they're like full of fire, slapping each other in the face. It was like a personal fight to start with. There was just it was just a really good match, what you would hope and expect from Kenny Omega and Swerve, both just, laying it all on the line, hitting their classics, and, there was just one slip up on a Kenny Omega moonsault off of the guardrail, but he recovered really easily and was able to pull it off on the second attempt. His Snapdragons, Kenny Omega's Snapdragons, looked as snappy as ever. Let's see here. There was a apron vertebraker attempt by Swerve, but countered by Kenny Omega into a Snapdragon on the apron. Vicious. There was a German suplex from the apron that Kenny Omega tried to hit on Swerve. Swerve countered it, landed on his feet on the floor, and then ended up hitting Brainbuster on Omega on the floor. So he also hit like this wicked 450 splash on Kenny. The knees just landed looked like they landed right in the back of Kenny Omega. So just a lot of really big moves. There was an avalanche Snapdragon by Kenny. But eventually, when we got towards the end of the match, there was, I guess Swerve was saying shoulder was hurt after that avalanche Snapdragon, and he was selling it. Aubrey was checking on him, and then he pulled Aubrey in front of a V-trigger. So it wasn't like she was there and she just got hit by happenstance. Like there was a little tug there and she got wiped out pretty viciously by that V-trigger. And Aubrey usually does get hit. And from there, Omega went to hit One Winged Angel on Swerve, but that was countered and he actually got countered into a house call, but the ref was down, so no pin. Then Kenny rolls out to the apron. He gets hit with a Swerve stomp on the apron, but there's still no ref. So the padding on that outside metal area that connects the bottom rope to the post, that padding gets removed and Swerve catapults Kenny Omega like throat chest first into it. And, by this time, the fans are starting to boo a little bit and turn on Swerve because he's getting a little bit too vicious, right? He's like just going a little bit above and beyond at that point. So they're not fully against him, but they're chanting, for Kenny. They're getting behind Omega. They're wanting him to turn things around, but he's just getting killed. So anyway, he goes up to the top, Swerve does, and he's signaling to the ref because here comes the new ref, Paul Turner. He hits the Swerve stomp, 1, 2, big kick out. Like the crowd goes wild. They get on their feet because they thought it was over, right? He had already gotten Swerve stomp on the apron, got hit with the metal piece of the ring rope, and then another swerve stomp. So fans are really getting behind Omega at this point. Then, Swerve's like setting up to do another house call, gets countered, Snapdragon, V-trigger to the back, Poison Rana. Oh man, Kenny Omega's on his way back, puts him up for that one-winged angel. Countered. He goes for the V-trigger, gets it. He's firing up, going for another second V-trigger. Countered, ran right into a house call. Bam. Then big pressure. 1, 2, 3. And you have it. That's it. Swerve Strickland pulls out the victory. Personally, I was expecting a win from Kenny Omega on this one, just because I thought this was his journey. This was his journey back to the top, but nope. Swerve, like he said, he needed it. And that wasn't all he needed was the win. Come to find out, he gets his hand raised and he attacks Kenny Omega after the match to a chorus of boos. He tosses Paul Turner out of the ring, goes back to attacking Kenny Omega, wraps a chain around his throat and hangs him over the top rope. And you would think he would be done there, but nope, not quite. Goes to the announce table, clears it, gets the steps up there, gets Kenny up there, sets him up for the vertebraker through the announce table. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Kenny Omega's done. Then Swerve just sits there, says, I needed this. So Swerve has turned a corner. And he has become someone he used to be. I guess they wanted to make it seem like, Kenny Omega was questioning whether he was the most dangerous man or not. In fact, Kenny Omega said Brody King was the most dangerous man. But I guess that really lit a fire under Swerve, and he is back to his ways of being brutal, vicious, and dangerous. Most dangerous, as his song says. So that was the show. I thought it was another great all-around show. Nothing to disappoint here, and not for me. There was a surprise or two. Count that TBS Championship defense by Willow as a surprise, and I definitely count Swerve's victory and then his turn to complete viciousness against Kenny Omega of all people, and we'll see if Kenny's going to disappear again for a while. I can't imagine he's going to just bounce back. But all in all, really great show. I thought the main event lived up to the hype. I would say that was the match of the night for sure. Guys, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of the main event, what you thought of the show as a whole. What do you think Swerve is going to do moving forward? Like, where's he going now? What's up with Kenny? Let me know. Let me know what you think about Hangman Adam Page and this promise that he's making, this stipulation. Wow. Great night. We'll see what's in store for Collision, and the train keeps moving. Thank you all. Please like, subscribe, share. For all of you that have already subscribed, thank you very much. It's a pleasure, and y'all have a great rest of your day, rest of your night. Enjoy yourselves. Take care until we meet again.